Hey, good morning, everybody. Welcome to the Wade and Carter Show. Ash, Brent, glad you're all here. Rena Scherer, first one in this morning. Stephanie Connie, Bobby Leister checking in on a chilly Monday morning. Glad you're all here. And thanks for joining us on the show live from the Atzenhofer studio, as we are every single Monday to Friday. Wade and Carter weather brought to you by the great folks at AT Deerlam Hayfeed and Ranch Services.
Folks, it's cold outside. It's 23 degrees in Victoria, Texas, and I'm going to go with it today. It says that it feels like it's 13 degrees. Now, Ash may correct me. I'm not sure we've ever done a show on a colder day in 10 years.
I don't think so.
And it's going to be a sunny day. The sun's going to come out about 11, and it's not until 11 that we get up above 32 degrees.
So we got to take it to 11.
Yeah, high today of only 42. It's. I mean, to me, this is like a no whining zone. You take the cards that you're dealt, but it's cold, legitimately cold. If you don't have to go anywhere, don't. I will tell you that our streets are completely dry. Yeah. There was no black ice. There was nothing to fret. If I needed to go to Houston, I would get in the car and go. But
north of here got a little icy and dicey, but around here, I'm convinced the National Weather Service has orders to turn every weather event into Armageddon to panic people.
To minimize traffic from those that shy away and to really cover everybody's backside that, oh, man, it's dangerous out there. Be careful on the roads. And I get it, and it's always like, they always err on the side of this is going to be the worst storm ever because people are dumb. I mean, that's the truth. People are dumb. It's like we've got to convince them it's the worst storm ever so that they're smart enough to drip their pipes.
Yeah.
That's what happens.
People survived this stuff 40 years ago, 50 years ago. Last year, they said the same thing. Oh, and everybody shut down early, and we got nothing. And the same thing happened again this year. And then it's interesting. I look back on my feed 12 years ago. We did have icy roads in the area because a memory popped up. But almost every year at this time, same crap.
Don't be surprised, folks. It's winter. I mean, in Richmond, Virginia, the snow plows are out. We don't have that. And some of you would be like, oh, isn't it great? It snowed. No, it's not great. It's a mess. Patrick Strauss says it helps HEB sell out. And Brent Anderson said it sells ads.
Yeah, I was there Saturday, and here's this shredded cheese. There was none of it on the shelves at HEB. What the hell is shredded cheese going to help you survive?
Well, if you're out of toilet paper, you can always just use a little shredded cheese.
And all the crock pots are off the shelf. That ain't going to help you when the power goes out, as they were predicting.
The grid seems to have held. There are folks in our state without electricity, but I don't think it's, it's the predictable issue, right? It's okay.
About 1 million people across the South and Mid-Atlantic without power, according to
300,000 are in Tennessee.
Yeah, about 100,000 in Texas, according to. I got a text from AEP yesterday because even though they supply my power, that's not who I purchase it from. Mm-hmm. But apparently they were saying that there were about 100,000 people in Texas without power. So there you go. And then they were telling you, CenterPoint Energy sent out a text, please don't use your natural gas. Turn your thermostat down. Wait a second. I'm supposed to turn it up to keep my pipes from freezing and open up all my cupboard doors if I'm on outside walls, but then you're telling me to turn it down.
Yeah, very interesting. It says the storm underscores how much the grid depends on natural gas. About 40% of U.S. generation is via natural gas. So I have no problem with that. I just think that you just need more pipelines, right? We've got the gas.
We've got lots of gas.
There you go.
Scott Tomko and Ricky King says enchilada casserole. That's why you needed the cheese. I just order mine from Veracruz, and I don't have to worry about it.
Fantastic.
Cheese on eggs. Yeah, but the block cheese was still there. People don't have a grater and can't buy a block of cheese.
You know, I do it. I go to Sam's.
Cody
about
says no.
2.5 pound block. It's the one that's wrapped in the red wax, if you will, and Tillamook, and I will grate that. I also
There's no better cheese for melting than Tillamook.
he was very intrigued by it, and I taught Rylan how to use the grater, and now ice has been great. Cheese has been great. David Ballard says, look at all that gas being shipped overseas. No doubt about it. But we have plenty of gas, right, David? I mean, if we could build more fired power plants, we've got plenty of gas. Yeah.
Michelle Hawkins checking in. Monty Howard, good morning. Junior Samples, David Ballard, John Anderson.
Great group of folks. Stephanie Connie, good morning, friend.
Brent Anderson, Patrick Strauss.
Pete Strauss,
No,
he
good
didn't even have to go. Is he in Louisville or is he here?
I don't think he got out of Louisville.
He
He's
doesn't
flying.
even have to go to Louisville to be in the 20-degree weather. Last week, he was over there freezing.
Yeah. FYH685 says Tillamook cheese and ice cream. Yeah, their ice cream is really good too, although I don't really eat much. Ernesto Gonzalez, how funny that case is. What's on our minds on Monday morning.
Yeah, isn't that great?
I just thought
Absolutely.
it was funny. Victorians made a run on crock pots, cheese, and toilet paper this winter storm.
I've never understood that. Like, let's just go through the scenario, right? Are you thinking that a power outage is going to make you poop more? Do you need to stockpile?
It's the cheese.
Okay.
The cheese bums you up. Yeah.
Why do you need to stockpile?
If you're eating all the cheese, you don't need all the toilet paper.
Good point.
I don't
Leave
get
it for somebody who can't get the cheese.
John Paul Hull says queso's pretty much always on his mind.
No, that was what Willie Nelson actually sang about. By
That
the
is
way.
true. Yeah. Maybe I didn't melt you.
Quite as often as I should have.
Oh, you went into the Elvis version of Always on My Mind.
It's the best version.
Yeah. A lot of people did that song. That's mailbox money.
That's Brink's truck money.
Just back it up.
Yep.
Has there ever been a song that you can think of
Morning, Peter McNally.
that's bigger? And I want you folks to think about this. I don't mean, maybe you can find a Beatles tune or something that, I don't know, but think about Dolly Parton
Turned 80 last week, by the way.
wrote and put out I Will Always Love You. Then, and it went to number one, of course. Then Whitney Houston sang the same song, and of course it went to number one for weeks.
What was it, The Bodyguard? Wasn't that the movie?
And then Dolly Parton teamed up with Vince Gill and took the same song to number one again. I don't have like in my mind, like Desperado's been sung by the Eagles and
Clint Black.
Linda Ronstadt. But it didn't sell near as many copies as Always on My Mind.
Red Wine, UB40? Or did UB40 do it as well? I don't know.
Junior Samples with another random comment. Sauerkraut soup was yummy. Good for you, Junior.
I didn't see that fly enough. I didn't even notice that in the soup turns at HEB.
Yeah. Well, HR Mallory, our super trooper, our buddy, says, hey, look, toilet paper was bought up at one point. So now every time people prep for everything, we've got to buy toilet paper. I guess that
Bought it
makes
up
sense.
during COVID.
And it kind of leads you to where,
I always have a 2-week supply of toilet paper on hand, as I do most of my food.
first segue of the week. It is interesting how you get led to certain decisions. I find it interesting that, and you may be able to talk about Peggy Flanagan some in a moment. These folks in charge of politics will say to you, Minnesotans, you need to be out on the street. You need to be public. You need to be seen. You need to be confronting these people that were not invited into our state, who are causing problems. ICE isn't causing any problems. Look, man, they're not killing illegal aliens. You've had hundreds over 100,000 certainly people arrested, and 2 people who had no business being where they were in situations that they controlled got themselves shot. And now we all sit on the
A
sidelines.
third was shot about 5 times and didn't die
Yeah.
somewhere along the way. Nobody cared about that one, to be honest. That one barely got a blip in the media because they didn't die.
I think the hypocrisy of the whole thing that gets me is you look at somebody like Ashley Babbitt, the little girl, 115 pounds, that she was told not to climb through that window at the Capitol. She was told. And if you go back and dig up the archives, Ash and I said, play stupid games, win stupid prizes.
Alex Preddy didn't deserve to die.
But he
Let's get that out there right now.
should not have been there with a weapon. He invited that. Now, you may say, oh, is that like when a woman wears a halter top, she invites rape? No, it's not like that. I'm saying like Ashley Babbitt was told by Capitol Police, people that Ash and I absolutely support, don't come through that window. We're not going to tolerate it. They took her weapon and one of them fired it and killed her. And the left said, good riddance, MAGA woman, white supremacist woman. She deserved to die.
Insurrectionist. Completely forgot she served this country in the Air Force.
Yeah, she was just a trespasser. Could have easily been arrested.
But Alex
She was
Preddy
no threat to anybody.
is an everyday hero because he's an ICU nurse.
Yeah, he was a nut job.
Lucy Letby was a nurse as well.
He was a nut job. And he's out there. I don't know exactly what his intent was. Doesn't matter. He did 2 things. He obstructed justice, got in the middle of an ongoing law enforcement activity. That's a felony. And then, by any way you want to look at it, he resisted arrest, as did the crazy broad in the Honda Pilot. Resisted arrest. She was told, get out of the vehicle. While her partner was over there going, you guys need to go get a donut, baby. We're here to stay. Go, baby. Drive, baby. Drive. Bam. Good riddance. Bye. See ya. Opens up some pink hair for some other people. Good job. Good job, Ice.
I watched the video a couple of times. That was
I'm
enough
not
for
sure
me.
that
I'm not
crazy
sure he
nurse
pulled,
pulled that pistol.
I'm not sure he even went for his pistol. I'll be honest, from the video I saw, but what I did see was him walk off the sidewalk, go intervene between ICE and a person that they had to pepper spray and push down because they were in their face.
Yeah, I mean, look, I'm up there serving a legal warrant. And you come up and you get between me and what's going on, you're endangering my life. There's no way to get around it.
Nope.
You're endangering my life.
I don't know what your intent is, and I don't know what you have on you or what you're going to do to me.
And while I'm distracted having to deal with your dumb ass, somebody could be putting a rifle right on my dome and shooting me.
Or coming up from behind and planting a pistol in the back of my head, a la Clinton style,
Yeah, Hillary Clinton could show up and execute you.
and call it a suicide.
The ICE agent didn't shoot that woman. The ICE agent pepper sprayed her and said, stand down.
And,
Non-lethal.
and Alex Preddy found, honestly, I think the woman narrative comes after the fact because when I watched the video, I couldn't tell it was a woman. They were all bundled up in cold weather
A
gear.
lot of those leftists, you can't tell the men from the women.
But Alex Preddy decides to jump in there to save a woman from ICE. A
Maybe
woman who had no
instinctively,
business being there.
He's a nurse. Maybe he wanted to render aid.
But when he started pushing the ICE agent,
There you go. There you go. Don't put your hands on PD. Be smarter than that. And this is not like, look, man, black people have known this for 5 generations. Why is it that stupid white people are just learning?
because these are the same stupid white people that have told everybody else, don't touch a police
Don't-
officer.
They need to see that Chris Rock video, How Not to Get Shot by the Police.
Peggy Flanagan, Lieutenant Governor of Minnesota, was telling she's got blood on her hands.
She's a complete nut job, and she's part of the Communist Democrat Party. That's who they are. They hate America, and she loves the chaos.
She told people in a video, put your bodies on the line. And now they're trying to say that Alex Preddy is like the tank man at Tiananmen Square. This is nothing like this.
Nothing like that.
The idiots are walking around with signs that say this is like 1938 Germany. This is nothing like that.
They're not rounding up the illegals and putting them in train cars and euthanizing them. They're not doing that. They're not putting them in concentration camps. They're sending them home. By the way, in 1939 Germany, the normal citizen wasn't on the street protesting what the SS was doing. But that's the narrative, right? You have to twist it.
Yep.
You have to turn Trump into Hitler, and we're all fascists.
And
That's what's got to happen.
And let's not forget, you have a right in this country to peacefully assemble.
You have no right to riot, damage property, interfere with law enforcement. And here's the deal. I mean, I'm sorry. If you kill a few of them, the rest will get in line. And if you feel like that, oh, that's the state trying to take over, they're killing people. Yeah.
Trump has deported fewer people than Obama. I think fewer people than the Biden administration,
and
actually.
fewer than Bush, I think.
And fewer
I
than
don't
Clinton.
understand why. Well, I do. I know exactly why. But I don't understand why the left is orchestrating all of these protests.
Well, here's part of the difference. Trump has made a spectacle of the ICE raids. They go and announce what city they're going to. Stupid mistake number one.
Yeah, he's got too much ego involved in it. Right?
No, that's part of it. Absolutely. They were rounding up and deporting people under Bush, Obama, Clinton, Biden. The difference was they didn't go they didn't announce it pre-game. They didn't say, we're coming to Victoria, Texas to round up your illegals. They just went and quietly did it.
Right.
And nobody knew they were doing it.
Michelle Wilson Hawkins says, look, it's a nice deflection.
That's exactly what
from
it
the
is in
fraud.
Minneapolis, for sure.
She says, I can't tell you how many comments I've seen from Minnesotans calling ICE the Gestapo. Whose words were those? Tim Walz.
No, and this is happening only in Minneapolis because
We've deported many more in Texas, Ash. Nobody's been shot.
deported many more in other blue states. And one person was shot 5 times, but he survived. So nobody cares about him.
The bottom line is whether you like this or not, the officer or officers who eliminated the threat in Minnesota over the weekend are going to be exonerated. It's going to be deemed a legal shoot. The guy was committing 2 felonies. Whether you like that or not is irrelevant. He was obstructing justice and he was resisting arrest. The idea, you're not a normal person if it takes 5 people to restrain you. If you're kicking and clawing and fighting, I mean, you might as well at that point just be proud that you can check the box. I was arrested at a protest, because that's what they want.
Yeah.
This guy was trying to get on TV.
You know what's interesting?
And Patrick Strauss says Tim Walz wants to start a civil war. Let me tell you.
The left wants to start a civil war.
You can't believe how close it is and how quickly it will be
Listen
decided.
to a very interesting interview this morning on Breitbart News on the Patriot Channel on Sirius XM with a Chinese lady named Xi Van Fleet.
Yeah. She was born in China. She came here and was educated. She said that it was sometime in 2020. In 2020, the light switch flipped and she realized that she was a pawn of the Chinese Communist Party. And she started speaking out. And she said that this entire thing in Minnesota is orchestrated, she says, by China.
Yeah. And other activists. It's well paid for. I got questioned on that. Well, who's paying for it? I don't know who's paying for it. I assume some of the usual actors, Soros and Soros-funded groups, probably CARE is involved, probably a lot of NGOs. But when you're mass feeding, maybe the Somali grocery store that frauded Minnesota out of millions, is finally feeding the thousands of people a day they claim to be feeding, because all these protesters are getting fed from someone. They all have signs that all say the same thing, many of them in the same handwriting, many of them in the same printing. They've been mass produced. You tell me that's not an organized protest?
Right. JP Hull says that gun looked like a customized gun with a red dot. I doubt that person was inexperienced. I agree 100%. You know, it's funny because
I'm not even buying reports that was his gun, because
you're not.
I don't right now. I just don't.
You're not sure that was his SIG?
No.
A320? Well, what's interesting is if it is his gun, it was definitely a shooter's gun. But the idea that's amusing to me is now the left is standing up for that gentleman's right to conceal carry.
Yeah. The left has all of a sudden become pro 2A. They've wanted it. How come they're not complaining about his weapon of mass destruction if that was his gun?
It was a high capacity magazine.
According to the reports, it was a SIG with a very capable optic on it, as well as a 17-round magazine, and apparently he had at least 2 more magazines on him.
Yeah. Peter McNally with some good questions. Why were there 9 shots fired? Those agents aren't trained very well.
No, they're trained very well, Peter.
So Peter had a question, but immediately Peter has the answer. Why were there 9 shots fired? These agents aren't trained very well. Police chief in Minneapolis says more than 800 similar arrests last year with no firearms being used. I don't know. There were 5 people trying to hold the guy down. Somebody screamed, "Gun." I heard that on the video. And then officers did what officers are trained to do. When I'm having to fight you, you're resisting arrest. You're committing 2 felonies at the very least. And now you've taken 5 officers off task. They are trained to very rapidly remove the threat. And you know what? You read it all the time, mess around and find out. Stop.
You escalated the felonies to higher felony charges because you had a gun with you while you were committing the felonies of obstructing justice and resisting arrest. 5 of them. And then there's idiots out there right now showing an AI doctored picture. Well, this is the point of execution. And they show an ICE agent with Preddy on his knees and the gun pointed at his head. And it is so blatantly obvious AI because one of the agents is missing a head.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. It was just.
There's 3 people, 3 ICE agents, and one of them has no head.
Yeah.
But they're still, and they're doubling down on it. No, this is the real picture. This was still shot from the video. Yeah. Really? Where'd his head go? Then the video's doctored.
Junior Sample says the reason there were only 9 shots is that the pistol went click, click, click after the 9th shot. Norm Burgess says it's 9 degrees in Frisco. Norm, today is a day to play that was it a Slazenger, the Lottie?
The Laddie? That was a noodle.
The lady, what?
That was the Max Fly noodle. They had the lady ball, but then they called it the Laddie because men were buying it. Yeah.
Yeah. John Paul says make a lot of enthusiasts happy by calling it a magazine and not a clip. That's right. We slang it out there. Like, for example, the other one that always comes to mind is that you'll never hear anybody ever from the Bay Area refer to San Francisco as Frisco. It's either San Francisco, the Bay Area, but they don't ever say Frisco. So there's going to be a deep, deep investigation into this.
How is Peter McNally and other pundits, armchair quarterbacks, qualified to say they lack training? You don't know their training. You've not gone through their training.
Not to mention, you're in a very much in a heated and tumultuous environment caused by these quote unquote protesters that otherwise they walk up, knock on the door, serve the warrant, take the guy and leave, which by the way, don't get away from the fact that these are not citizens of Munich in 1938 or 39. These are illegal aliens in the United States, and they're going to be detained.
Here's a report from prisonpolicy.org in July of this year called Hiding in Plain Sight. The report shows almost half of all the arrests for those being deported are happening out of local jails and other lockups. We are not deporting nuns and priests and saintly people who are good. Half of the people being deported are already coming out of our jails and prisons and other detention facilities, folks.
And the people that are getting killed are the people that are in the way. You hear the left continually rant. They're shooting people in their homes. They're killing people in the doorways. It's just a lie. It's a straight up lie. And by the way, if you're here illegally and you've had all this time to either A, get your paperwork in order, you had 4 years under Biden, or you're still avoiding law enforcement, I mean, I'm sorry. If you end up dead, man, that's a shame. You should self-deport while you can. Leave. Go home. Go home.
I have my concealed carry permit, and I was taught if you have to shoot, you shoot till that magazine is empty.
That's right.
Because you need to eliminate the threat.
And what does it matter? If the guy was dead after shot 4, what does shot 5 matter? It's the only real question
now
is,
you're wasting government funds.
Was it a legitimate...
That'll be the stupid argument coming from the left.
Was it a legitimate legal shoot? And the answer here is clearly yes. I'd like to welcome everybody into the No Bull Network, whether you're in Calhoun County on 105.9, DeWitt and Goliad and 100.1, Gonzales, Karnes City, Atascosa County, B County, Frio County, Jim Hogg, welcome in. Glad to have you. We're live from the Atzenhofer studio. Atzenhofer, a South Texas tradition for over 100 years. Proud to be associated with Atzenhofer. You can go to atzenhofer.com today. That'll make you smart. It's too cold to wander around on the lot. But I'll tell you what, if you go to Atzenhofer on the lot today, and you walk around and you decide you want a new car or a gently pre-owned vehicle, you tell them Wade and Carter sent you and we said you could take $1,000 off. Because if you're crazy enough to go walk around out there, you need $1,000 off. Atzenhofer is Victoria's dealership. Straight up. Went Services, Went Electrical. If you're concerned, if this freeze gives you pause, consider getting a turnkey, American-made Generac generator installed. Went Services can help you as early as next week. They ain't coming out there today. Give them a call. Let them come out. White Trash Services. If you're in the counties
They'll be out there today.
They will help you have a trash-tastic day. Call White Trash Services at 550-1826. Here in Victoria, make a 1, 2, or 3 year service agreement with them, and you will get $25, $50, or $100 donated to your local volunteer fire department. Chesnick Furniture, Chesnick and Love, make your house a home. Reach out to Bobby Leon and his family. They have a website. You don't have to get out in this cold weather to go to Chesnick Furniture. Whether you need bedding, all types of bedding, Sealy Posturepedic, Stearns & Foster, Tempur-Pedic bedding. Chesnick Furniture is more than a Victoria tradition. For over 100 years, Chesnick and Love have made your house a home. Allen's Wrecker Service. There's no black ice, but there's still any little change in the weather makes people drive like lunatics. Be careful. If you end up in a ditch, dial 578-6300 and let Allen's Wrecker Service bail you out. What do you got, boss?
I was just looking at data.
That's
Once
always
again,
scary.
Yeah, isn't it though? Because I like to do that.
What's the commander over there? Has he got a microphone?
I
Commander,
had
don't
it
you
up,
get-
but he's not saying anything.
Don't
so
you
I
get a
turned it
little
down.
anxious when Ash starts interpreting data?
Yes, sir. It sounds like a terrible idea.
Like if a quarterback is 20 of 30, Ash will go, well, that's practically 67%.
Practically.
Yeah. Peter McNally says, we should all be pushing for a complete investigation, no matter how you feel about these recent unnecessary deaths. Now, see, Peter, talk to any cop or prosecutor. Okay, so Peter McNally has determined that every police officer and every prosecutor has determined that these recent deaths were unnecessary. And I agree they were. If those fools wouldn't have been there,
They wouldn't be dead.
if they hadn't pointed a car at a cop and then accelerated, if they hadn't. Here's the problem I've got. Here's the real problem I've got. None of you hypocrites, none of you would lift a care if the crazy broad in the Honda Pilot had been a black man and had the ICE agent been a black female. Y'all would not care at all that an ICE agent shot somebody. This is the truth. This is the uncomfortable truth that you communist Democrat idiots have to address. You wouldn't care if a black man, 6'4", 280, had aimed his F-150 pickup at a black diminutive 5'3",
Female
120
ICE agent.
pounds, black ICE agent, and she said, oh, no, not today, sucker, boom, boom, boom. Y'all would have been like, well, that guy shouldn't have been there. But now, because it was a crazy, mentally ill, wacko broad with no life from another state, abandoning her kids, paid to be there, oh, the horror. Oh, it's a tragedy. She's an idiot. Now she's a dead idiot. Idiots die. It happens. Don't be an idiot. That's it. These deaths were avoidable. Don't be the idiot that walks into an armed conflict with your JV, sweater on, thinking that you're going to go toe-to-toe with an ICE agent, and then try to claim that the ICE agent's not properly trained. He eliminated the threat. He killed a 2-time felon. I really couldn't care less. Don't be there. It's not your place. I would not have cared one iota had a church parishioner stood up and shot Don Lemon in his dome either. Don't go into my place of worship with your camera rolling and start your protest. That is not your right.
And now he's claiming he's a journalist and was just doing journalistic things, so he should be immune from prosecution. No, you created the news, Don Lemon. You're unethical at the very least.
That's right. Junior Sample says the deaths were avoidable, but now that they've happened, they were justified. And that's what's going to be determined. We'll spend a bunch of money determining that this guy shouldn't have been there, shouldn't have put himself in harm's way, had no reason to be there.
This year alone, 54,000 ICE arrests in the state of Texas since Donald Trump took office
Nobody's been shot.
in 2025, not this year alone, 2025. The data goes from January 1 through October 15th of 2025. There were 54,000 plus arrests in the state of Texas. More than half of them, people who are already locked up in jail somewhere. 34,000 of them, almost 35,000 of them, according to this data from prisonpolicy.org, were people who were already in lockups in the state of Texas.
So we had them locked up, and we just said
for
this guy's
something
a
else.
criminal.
For something else. Then they went in and got them on their immigration charges.
Right. Get them out of here.
These aren't people who are good for society.
Yeah.
They already broke a law to get here. There's the problem with the left. The laws are a sliding scale. Oh, they just got a pocket full of dope.
Yeah, there's
Let's
laws
let them
the
run
left
free.
that
And then-
conveniently doesn't want to enforce certain laws. But they've been enforced under Biden. They've been really ramped up under Barack Obama, but the left didn't care then. You see, all of these protests are happening to disrupt the Republicans doing what the Democrats have done for years. Does that sound familiar? The Democrats complain when the Republicans do something that the Democrats have always done.
Isn't that a bipartisan solution?
Yeah.
If the Democrats have done it, the Republicans are still doing it. Boy, seems like both parties are in agreement on this one.
Well, these guys are all wound up about Tom Homan, right?
Yep.
He's been the border guy for years.
He got an award under Obama in 2015. He got the highest award given to federal employees that one can receive for his efforts in deporting people.
Right.
It was, people were then, oh no, it's fake, it's fake. No, it's not fake. Did the research, found out.
Peter McNally asked, did you take any law courses during your formal education? Question for each of you. I actually did. I was never in law school, and I never sought to be an attorney, but I also have read the writings of several quite learned people, several of whom are liberal, who say things like, well, unfortunately, this is going to be deemed a legal shooting. When I get the inconvenient truth, if you will, from someplace like ABC or CNN, it kind of reinforces. Right, John Paul, thank you, sir, because you're saying exactly what I was thinking. I've got a PhD in common sense. Hey, I'm an employed.
My dad told me not to get involved in law enforcement when they're doing their job.
Right,
Pretty smart.
right, no doubt. It's already been disproven. Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt about it. Patrick Strauss says, let Trump promise the illegals something that would get them to vote Republican and watch the left be in favor of getting them deported. If Donald Trump came out today, you want to watch the left spin in. If Donald Trump came out today and said, starting February 1st, I've got a 10-day window of amnesty. If you'll come in and tell us who you are and vow to vote Republican, I will set you free. You'll be an American. The left would go, that's not right. The Constitution says those folks have to go. That's exactly what would happen.
Graham V. Connor, look it up, Pete. Police officer with training would reasonably respond with lethal force.
Yeah.
When needing to, then the force is justified.
It doesn't even mean that you've got to have the fact that the guy had a gun, the fact that someone saw a gun, the fact that it was feasible that he could get his hand on the gun and shoot somebody was a justifiable reason to put him down and get back to the task. Good morning, Alex Alvarez. There's Junior and Alex side by side. You can go to Facebook. I think it's on Facebook.
His name's Andrew.
Oh, that's a different.
No, that's a different Alvarez.
Where you were headed was Andrew.
Oh, yeah. Sorry. Well, that's my buddy, Alex Alvarez.
Yeah.
Good morning, buddy. But anyway, Andrew Alvarez and Junior are going to be doing a program. I'm going to go ahead and give them a little plug here because somebody will check it out. It's called The Mandate Show. They're not like competing with us in the same time slot, are they?
They're Saturdays, starting February 7th.
Like 3 in the morning till 3:15?
Yeah.
Something like
Right
that.
before the test pattern comes on and right after the national anthem.
It was like that. Beep.
Remember when TV shut down at midnight every night?
Yeah, you could watch it psychedelic, and they always played like, what is it? So it was a Elvis song about "You'll Never Walk Alone," but it was sung by like the Air Force Choir. You know that song? When you walk through the storm, hold your head up high. Yeah, they played that on CBS when I was a kid.
No, they're going to start the mandate on Magic.
And good for them. It's going to be a fun
Talking about
time.
man stuff.
But you can go to Facebook and type in the Mandate Show. And if you subscribe, if you like it,
Yeah. Help them get to 50 folks so
They
they
need
can
50
they can
folks.
live cast their shows because apparently you need 50.
it doesn't mean you have to listen. Just help them get on the air.
But
Yeah.
you could.
Junior says they're going to talk about hookers and whiskey. He said no sports.
Nope.
That'll be the best 15 minutes in radio. Yep. No, it'll be fun.
Yeah.
I can't wait to listen.
Hunting, fishing, whiskey, cigars.
Like I've told you for years, Junior knows a lot about a lot. It's fun.
Tommy Kingston with a common sense question. What if the guy who was shot was able to get a shot or two off and hit protesters?
Yeah. Oh, there's no doubt. Yeah.
Yeah, who knows what his intent was? That's the thing. Nobody knows because he's not around to ask questions. You know
That's
why?
right.
Because he showed up at a protest with a loaded weapon. And the left is trying to say, oh, so did Carl Rittenhouse. But you know what? Rittenhouse didn't go confront police officers.
That's right.
In fact,
he was
remember,
confronted by bad people.
and Rittenhouse, when confronted by police, went like this. And,
Yeah.
oh, he was able to do that because he was a white guy.
That was the dumbest comment ever. This guy was a white guy.
Yeah, where did race play into this one?
Yeah. He's
There's- yeah.
roadkill.
I got called a racist yesterday online because
Because you
I
are.
had issues with Alex Pretty, a white guy, showing up at a protest and getting in the face of law enforcement when they were trying to do their job. You're no longer peacefully assembling
That's right.
when you put your hands on law enforcement. And the video shows he did.
Just the dumbest thing ever. I don't care where you are. Walk up, try it yourself. Walk up to a Victoria police officer, put your hands on him, and watch him give you that look, first of all. And you've got it coming. You've got it coming. John Paul Hall says he's going to call the Mandate Show and only ask sports questions. JP, a little heads up for you. I know you follow a lot of sports and all things A&M. The Fighting Texas Aggies are atop the SEC basketball rankings at this point. However,
Texas beat Georgia on the weekend.
Texas did. But here's what I want you to know. So Texas has beat Georgia. Texas has beat Vandy. The Aggies beat Texas. So the Aggies, to me, that may be actually the Aggies' best win. They've played the Manhattan Jaspers. They've played Prairie View A&M. The problem is they're really, really ranked, and they should be, because I think they're honestly, like, I'm making up a number, 15-2. I'm just making that
A&M?
up. A&M is really playing well.
And they slammed South Carolina on Saturday.
Slammed South Carolina. But did you know, so there's 16 teams in the SEC. The Aggies have beaten no one higher than the number 9 team. They played 9 through 16. That's who they're beating right now. Not their fault. It just means
That's how the schedule.
that's how the schedule is. This weekend, the 31st, they get to play Georgia, and we'll see how they fare. If they get by Georgia, the Aggies could be on a roll to say win the SEC championship this year, and good for them. They're playing good. They have a new coach. His name's Bucky, and I think they're legit. Yeah, see, JP says, I know they haven't beaten anybody ranked, but again, right, you can only beat the teams they put in front of you.
Yeah. They don't make their conference schedule. It's handed to them.
Yeah.
There's Larry Schilling checking in. Good morning to my old
Good
neighbor.
morning, Larry. Yeah. Junior, big plans. He said, I said, no sports, you discuss roller derby women.
Women's rugby, flag football, women's flag, college softball, all be on the list.
Basically, he wants to talk about women and booze. Yes, Peter McNally, hats off to the Guns Up Red Raiders. They beat U of H at U of H, and that's two really fine programs. U of H has a great basketball tradition. It's funny. What's his name? I was going to say Samuels. That's not right.
Calvin Sampson.
Calvin Sampson. Where all has he coached? Cody, you want to bring that up? Calvin Sampson.
He coached at Calvin Sampson coached at Washington State when I was
Kelvin
there.
Sampson, right?
Yep.
Yeah, Kelvin. Coached at Washington State, but also coached somebody in the
Indiana.
Big 12, I think.
I think he was at Oklahoma for a little bit in Indiana.
There you go.
Yeah, or he's
Oklahoma,
from
Indiana.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, he got it. There's quite a few if you want them all, but
No,
those
that's
are the-
not-
And he was at Weber State before he went to Washington State.
Weaver State.
I think no, he was at Montana Tech.
So from Montana Tech to Washington State was somewhat of a step backwards, but
then Oklahoma, Indiana, assistant coach at the Milwaukee Bucks, assistant coach at the Houston Rockets, and now at U of H.
there you go. Brian
I had
Small
them all.
says it was at Tech. My bad. I don't know why. You're right. It was. Now I can see the T on the floor.
Ricky King wants us to switch gears, so should we take
Okay.
a final break and do it?
Yeah, let's do it. Let's take a break. Folks, USA Concrete. Are you touching my stuff?
Yeah, I don't know why it's doing
let's
that.
don't do that.
Okay.
USA Concrete Coatings. 578 home. Flustered. Discombobulated.
Now's the time. If your pool deck cracked because the pipes cracked from this winter freeze, call
Right.
USA Concrete Coatings. They can seal those cracks. Put down a tough as nails polyurethane coat that won't.
Crack stick peeler.
There
Fade.
you
Veracruz Restaurant. Today's a good day to get in. It's so cold today.
The drowning enchiladas today,
You
folks.
could take Veracruz queso and mix it with a little of their guac and fill the cracks on your driveway, and they would be sealed. But in your quest to save toilet paper, load up on Veracruz queso. It's the best in town. It's been proven so in a blind taste test, as has their guacamole. I know a blind guy that ate there and said, that's some dang good guacamole. I wouldn't lie to you. Palace Bingo, where friends meet friends. Palace inviting you out to help support 7 local charities. Palace Bingo,
Not included. You're the 8th if you're a winner.
that's right. You can win money and help them help others. And then, of course, we just gave you the First State Bank of Louise sports update. Not quite sure. They're saying now that Isak Paredes may play some second base this year for the Astros, which would relegate Jose Altuve to some time off and or DH. It gives you a buffer in the event that Yordan Alvarez can't be the everyday DH, which he intends to be. But First State Bank of Louise is the friendliest little bank anywhere. They're big enough to get the job done and small enough to know you by name. Get into the First State Bank of Louise for all your banking needs. What's going on at the
Well,
chopping block?
You want to stay warm? Fresh chili meat, $8.99 a pound. They've got cheesy Wagyu heifer all beef boudin for $8.99 a pound, and they've got their famous El Rey boudin. That's the one with the jalapenos and the pepper jack cheese in it. That one's a really good one. If
I tell you what,
like your
they've been
boudin.
experimenting with boudin. And
I think they make the best boudin.
they do. It's that I've had. They take it
I've
to the
had
next level.
Even boudin I've had in New Orleans.
Really?
This one, in my opinion, better than all of that.
There you go. Culinary advice from a Canadian who eats cheese curds and fried prim.
With gravy.
Gravy.
Ain't gonna get any better than that.
Pete Strauss says it's at 10 in the morning. You're going to have Bloody Marys. Wow. That must be Junior's shows at 10 in the morning.
Must be.
Torn Bells wants to know, are you going to have a sauerkraut smoothie for breakfast? Man. Replete with Tito's vodka.
Yeah. So if Bo Nix doesn't get hurt, the Broncos win that game going away
Ifs and
yesterday
buts,
afternoon.
candies and nuts.
Yep.
We all have a Merry Christmas. It's a tough game. Stidham did what he could do, but the New England Patriots advance to the Super Bowl.
What was it 10-7 the final?
Yeah, not really an exciting game. Nowhere near the game, as you predicted before the weekend. Nowhere near the game of the Los Angeles Rams. California Rams?
Yep.
Anaheim
Still the LA Rams.
and the Seattle Seahawks. Seahawks come away the winner, 31-27?
Very good
like
game.
That. Really a good ball game. Up
Both quarterbacks near perfect quarterback ratings.
Stafford. I actually felt bad for what's Stafford's first name?
Matt
Matthew. Stafford at California at the Rams.
22 of 35 for 374 and 3 touchdowns, no
A
interceptions.
great day for him
Sam Darnold goes 25 of 36, 346 and 3 touchdowns.
and no interceptions.
No
It was a
interceptions.
really well quarterbacked game. Lots of big plays. It was really good. Heather Stewart says the mandate airs on Saturdays at 9 a.m. Okay. I mean, we're going to have to start sending him an invoice at this point.
Yep.
Yeah, I agree, P. Strauss. He says, horrible decision to not take the points in the first half. Was that with the field goal we were talking about? Was that in the first half?
Yeah, it could have been. No, it could have been 10-0 for Denver at that point.
Okay.
Instead, it was 7-0. But the kicking game let both teams down the stretch because conditions deteriorated as the game went on, and they were all missing field
They
goals.
both missed a field goal late in the first half.
Yeah.
Denver missed one, and then they came down. Now, I want you to look. I looked at the numbers were something like this guy was like, pick a number, 45 and 52 on the season, but his longest field goal was 53 or 59 yards, and he was trying to kick a 63-yarder in a storm. I mean, wind was blowing, it was cold. I knew he wasn't going to make a 63-yarder.
Drake May, 10 of 21 for 86 yards. And Stidham wasn't much better. 17 of 31 for 133, 1-1.
Drake May's a good player. I thought he played really well.
Yeah. No, he did what he had to do not to lose the game, and now he's in the Super Bowl. So there you go. I think where LA made a mistake late in that game, they went for it on 4th and goal. Stafford threw the incompletion in the back of the end zone. I think you take the points. It's 31-30 at that point. That was a chip shot of a field goal.
Right.
And then you kick off and you hope your defense holds. I think the bigger statement there, you and I talked about this before the game, was the fact that I think it told the Rams defense that he had that
He had more confidence in
confidence.
the offense than he did in the defense, and the defense let him down. Have you and I ever – I made a comment to a friend this weekend that
shaming a small business. Way to go.
– well, but I made a comment to – we just ignore that.
Yep.
I made a comment to a friend this weekend that unemployment is down, the stock market is up. I don't think this is a good thing necessarily, but the price of gold has passed $5,000 an ounce for the first time ever. It just shows you how weak the dollar is.
And the uncertainty in currencies globally.
But gasoline prices are down. Like I said, unemployment is down. Inflation is way down. And people still talk about affordability. I mean, really, as if the president, I don't think that I blamed Joe Biden when prices were high. I may have. I don't know.
I blame government spending and the fact that we dumped almost $4 trillion from the government into the economy, post-COVID. That's where the inflation came from.
And no, John Anderson, Tom Dempsey does not hold the record. I think the longest field goal now is 68 yards?
68 yards, and it's held by Cam Little of Jacksonville. Said it earlier this season. Justin Tucker had the previous record of 66, which he kicked in 2021. So there you go.
Patrick Strauss says if they would have kicked the one in the first half, that one in the fourth would have been for the lead.
Yeah.
Yes, sir. No, I agree. Very low-scoring game. I think both programs were betting they would get untracked and score in the second half.
Yeah. Talk to any cattle producer. Beef prices are up, not because of what they're making or not making,
Because of the Packers.
because of the Packers, and that there's very little
and
in
not
way
the
of
Green Bay
competition.
Packers.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Tommy asked what was gold. It's over $5,000. It got to $5,000 an ounce. First time ever.
Yeah. 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 Our government is and I'm gonna dive into the bill a little bit more. The spending bill, because it's just Republicans are doing Republican type things, and Republicans are doing government type things in Washington, D.C. yet again. They go there, they say they're going to cut spending, and they haven't really cut spending.
Yep.
I'm getting frustrated with it.
How about this? Just shift gears so you don't get too frustrated on a Monday. Vladimir Zelensky said Tommy Keese is going to sell his teeth. He's got some gold in them. Vladimir Zelensky saying that the paperwork is in order for the U.S. to sign and agree to a essentially peacekeeping, boots on the ground presence in Ukraine. And I ask you a couple of things. One, so they're not a NATO country, but why doesn't Western Europe provide that security? Number two, why doesn't Zelensky believe that Western Europe can provide that security? You'll recall that at one point Donald Trump said, I'm not putting boots on the ground over there. My word is enough. Putin won't. We'll put engineers over there. We'll put workers over there, but I'm not putting soldiers over there, which I applaud. I don't want that. And yet Zelensky said that's not enough. France said, we will send people. We'll send people. And he goes, that's not enough. I need the U.S. Do you think that putting American boots on the ground in Ukraine moves the world closer or further from World War III?
Closer.
I do too. I think putting those on the ground moves us closer to World War III. And I applaud Donald Trump for thus far saying I'm not going to do it. I get that. But I don't understand why Western Europe can't step up and provide that security. They're the ones that are all saying they're doing such great things. They don't need the U.S. I don't understand.
Yeah, Ricky King, going back to football, I remember when a 45-yard field goal was something.
certainly not
50-yarder
a
was
given.
something. Now, he asked what has changed from the past now to make them kick so far. A couple of things, in my opinion.
Better athletes,
I think the hash marks are
closer, more
in
narrow.
line. Yeah, I think so. Could be wrong on this, but more than half the games are played on turf.
And they kick
Half
a
the
different
games
ball.
are kicked in. Yeah, they have kicking balls now.
They have kicking balls
Yep.
that are aired a little tighter so that when you kick it, it jumps.
Half the games are played indoors.
No wind.
Nobody's kicking off dirt infields like you used to. Remember in Oakland, Cleveland, Milwaukee. Wow, when the Packers played there once in a while, but nobody's kicking off dirt infields because they're playing on stadiums that used to be or were shared with a baseball team. The grass fields are replaced constantly. It's not planted at the start of the year and let to go dormant in November and December. They sweep off the yard lines when you're going to kick now. You don't actually kick it out of snow anymore. And the kickers are better conditioned. They train to kick. Tom Dempsey was a straight ahead
Yeah.
kicker with a shoe that everybody said, well, the only reason he kicked it so far is he's got a wood block on his shoe.
Yeah, he had a squared off toe on
'Cause
his
he had no
kicking shoe
toes.
Because he had no toes.
Yeah.
It's a DEI hire.
Catherine, Texas points out the hypocrisy of the left. Protesters creating borders in Minneapolis is hilarious and such a contradiction.
Yeah.
Remember when they did this in the Chaz in Seattle as well? And we're saying who can come in and who can't? The same people mad about that are supportive of open borders and let anybody in, but they didn't want certain people in their neighborhoods.
We'd love to have you come in tomorrow. There'll be lots to talk about, but you don't want to miss Wednesday. On Wednesday, we're going to have a conversation with Allison Fox to talk about her run for
Court of Appeals.
Criminal Court of Appeals. And we're also going to get a call from Aaron Reitz, who is
Candidate for Attorney General?
he's an assistant attorney general, or he works in the attorney general's office and has been endorsed by Ken Paxton to take Paxton's spot. I've seen some questionable advertising lately that made me want to reach out to Aaron Reitz, and it's this MAGA Mays Middleton. MAGA Mays Middleton. He's the only one that MAGA Mays Middleton secured the border. The guy was a state senator. I'm not buying it. I mean, he just tries to align himself so boldly with Donald Trump. MAGA Mays, MAGA, MAGA, MAGA Mays. I'm just not buying it, and I did a little research on Mays Middleton to uncover that Mays Middleton is just a rich fat cat with aspirations. He's in his 40s. He's been a state senator. He needs to get elected to a statewide office in order to, at some point, run for governor. That's what he wants to do. And he actually runs Middleton Oil Company. He does have a Juris Doctor from the University of Texas, which means he's a smart man. He went to the Texas Law School, but he's not a practicing attorney. Very interesting that he wants to be attorney general.
And Chip Roy is the other candidate.
And Chip Roy
Interesting.
has just, bless his heart, he's become kind of a prohibitionist. He's in the way of making things happen. He's like, we've talked about Brian Harrison. Nobody's as Republican as me. Chip Roy does not go along to get along at all. I just personally don't think that he's qualified to be attorney general in Texas either, which is again, a statewide election. Get your name out there so that these people are going to start positioning themselves to take over when Greg Abbott decides to not be governor anymore. That's what's happening. So anyway, we always tell you what's going on in the real world. That's the top of the hour. Hope you guys have a great day. Be safe on the roads. Be sure and tune in tomorrow, and then make sure to be here on Wednesday for Allison Fox and Aaron Reitz. God bless you. Have a great day, and stay warm, folks. It's still in the 20s outside. Bye-bye.
Bye, folks.